asking, well, perhaps you're gay. Is there a point to all these fancy clothes? With all these buckles from your head down to your toes? It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Is there something that you're trying to prove? With all the makeup and the way you move? Are you looking for some sympathy? No, I'm trying to be the best girl I can be. It's very simple, but I'm just another girl. It's not so easy, but I'm giving it a whirl. Like my martinis dry, cosmos I won't deny. Smoke those long cigarettes. Thank God I'm not dead yet. Done all these crazy things, short of a wedding ring. Just another
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Calista Solon, and this is nlcTrans. Tonight I'm here with my dear friend Tara, as usual. And we have two guests tonight, very exciting guests. We have Tonya Locante and Kamora Harrington. And you guys are with True Colors.
Yes.
And I would love to have you maybe talk a little bit about what it is that you guys do and about the organization in general, True Colors.
Let's see. Well, I run the mentoring program at True Colors, which I always say the best way to describe what the mentoring program is we are the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So everything that you get from Big Brothers, Big Sisters, our kids get from us. They get a supportive atmosphere. They've got a huge group of adults, a wonderful supportive network of adults who are in there to help take care of their needs, to anticipate their needs. But really, it's that support. And what I do is to run the program. Tonya does the real work of the program. I don't do any of that.
Well, me and about how many other different mentors?
Quite a few of you.
If it was just me, that'd be a lot for me to handle. I've been mentoring actually for since 2003. We're in the 6th calendar year now. And I'm on my 4th mentee. Wonderful kids, all of them. 2 of them actually have identified as transgender in some way. 2 identified more as bisexual. All have very unique and different personalities. My closest relationship was probably the second youth I mentored, with whom I'm still in contact. I love her very much. And she actually lived in my house for about a year due to some of the circumstances that evolved in her life. She'd had a child, and it was a baby living with us, and it was a very new experience for me, not having ever been a parent myself. Though, when I think of Jessica, I think that's the closest to a child in the world that I have.
Wow, so that's like a child and a grandchild.
No, it is, although I'm not having the opportunity to see the grandchild so much anymore. Hopefully that will change in the future.
That's very cool. So what's typically, what kind of ages are these kids?
The youths I've mentored have ranged in age from 14 to, when they became my mentees, the one I have now is 19, or is about to be. So that's the range that I've gotten them in. The program age is what?
That gets tricky. The program officially on paper, we take youth from 14 to 22. But if there's a youth who needs us, they come into the program regardless of their age. So 2 years ago, we took in a child at 11, and the referral that we got was there's a little boy who acted like a girl and was causing trouble in his group home because he wanted to do all this girly stuff, and the boys in the group home weren't comfortable with that. And he was 11, and he needed support. So we pulled him into the program. He was too young to come to activities with us in the program, so we matched him with a woman she was a grad student at UConn. And they would get together, and their first meeting was, what is it that you want to do? You know, we've got this whole summer ahead of us. What is it that you want to do? He wanted to go to DSW and try on shoes. Period. That was it. That was all that needed to happen. Wow. So when I was doing our interview together, this kid, he knew gay, he'd heard gay, and he knew he wasn't gay. He liked girls. This whole gay thing didn't sound like anything like him at all, but every grown-up in his world told him he was gay.
Of course.
Right.
You got an idea where I'm going with this story? Okay. So he was matched with this woman, great times, and then she had to go back to school, and he decided that he didn't want to do anything with the gay people anymore. But we'd had conversations about gender and what gender was and how gender is different for some people, and there are all these words, but these are the words that I know, but you might have some other words for gender too, so whatever it is that works for you. And then we didn't see him for 2 years. And then last year at the conference, someone introduced me to Wanda. And Wanda was the most beautiful, calm little girl you've ever met in your life. Just this whole sense of okay. And you got to know that the little boy who I met was angry. There was nothing okay about his way of being on this earth. And now, unfortunately, let me just get into issues that we've got here in Connecticut. We do not have a safe group home for LGBT youth. This is a youth who's not with his family because this is a youth who's not with her family because her family was not okay with her gender expression at all. So she's got to be in the system. And now she's living up in Waltham House in Massachusetts because that's a safe and affirming LGBT group home. It's a place where she can be, but she's not near the people in her world. She has a little sister, and the little sister lives with a lesbian couple, and that lesbian couple would love to create a relationship for the two of them, but because of the space, because of the distance, it's not happening.
Wow.
But now she's old enough, and now she comes and does activities with us.
That's very cool.
But we play with some of the younger kids. We also play with some of the older folks, because just because you're 22 and old enough to go to the bars doesn't mean that you're a grown adult who's ready to be thrown out there in the big wide world.
Right, right.
And with some of those folks, they don't come to as many of our activities either.
We know a few.
Yeah, send them to me. Only if you send me mentors too.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they're 21, 22. They're facing the world ahead of them, and they're not really equipped or ready to actually take it on. So.
And you get so many people who think, they've got the bravado of youth where I know I can do it, I know I can do it, I know I can do it. And it's really scary because they can't, but they figure it out. And we all know what that looks like when they figure out how to make it. We know in our community what sex work looks like. And right now I've got 2 kids in my program who are successful and will tell me how successful they are. And we don't get into the particulars of what the success is, but they're successful and they can pay their own bills and no one can tell them anything, and no, they don't need DCF anymore because they're paying their own bills, and they can take me out to lunch if I'd like.
Wow.
So,
making money in maybe ways that isn't so healthy or safe.
and definitely in ways that aren't so healthy and so safe. So we try to get in before that happens. Every so often we can get in after it started, but when you've got a kid who's brought home a lot of money and has had some man telling him, you are the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life, I love you, it's really hard to pull a kid out of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to pull an adult out of that.
Yeah. You're beautiful with money behind it.
Oh, yeah. Sure. That's difficult. But that is true. That's wonderful. That's something that God, I mean, when I was a kid, which was
a while ago.
A little while ago. I won't tell you exactly how long ago. But, there was nothing like this.
No.
And even when you were a kid.
No, absolutely.
It
And
just wasn't
I'm
anything.
33 now, and when I was growing up, the only time gay even got mentioned in high school was to make fun of one of the effeminate kids that was there, or as a derogatory term towards somebody. Nobody in my high school, and I graduated, 93, was openly gay. Nobody was out. There wasn't anything in the school system.
No, we had Rob. When I was in high school, I graduated in '89, and Rob couldn't pass. So Rob was the gay boy.